Thanks very much. Richard Barker from CASMI. I'd like to make 2 or 3 assertions and then ask a question, if that's okay. The first assertion I would make is that these discussions will have to happen at a country level because of some of the things that Richard said at the end. Everybody's got a different dynamic. The second assertion I'd make is we're not going to really know much until we discuss real products rather than concepts. Half an assertion, just to Richard's last point, is I think we'll be talking about confidential discounts from a price, not a price that gets published, but that's another matter. But I'd like to direct at Mark the following question. If we are going to bring together at the early stages in the product patient representatives, HTA representatives, payer representatives, clinicians, as well as the sponsor, so everybody, all the stakeholders, what would you have them leave the room with? What are the top 3 or 4 things they'd agree before they went away?
Top 3 or 4 things for me is, what evidence do you want to make available to make which decisions when? What are the clinical trial and monitoring real-world processes that will be employed to create that evidence, to enable those decisions? And to do a little bit of pre-planning for what are the trigger points. How good does it have to be to get approved or not approved? What are those? It's always a gradation. There's always judgment involved, but you can usually set upper and lower bounds of this is really exciting and we definitely move into a more accelerated approach. This would look like in the normal range, and this would be greatly concerning, and we'd have to think about how to rescue things. So it's, what are the decisions? What is the evidence you need at that time? Where do you plan to get that evidence? And it may not be always random clinical trials, which is, I think, part of the important part of this. Where can other types of data come in? But you have to agree about that up front, and I think that includes, you talk about a product, but as we've seen subpopulations and multiple indications, today we treat those all independently, having a bit more of a agreed upon game plan of this subpopulation first, this broader set second, this additional indication or secondary indication third, and how that might play and live off of each other and connect. Those would be my biggies. But we do all those things today. We just don't do them collaboratively or prospectively, and it's a bit too random for these kinds of processes to really win.
Could I just re-emphasize that the data needed are not necessarily coming from the trials. So don't go away with the perception that additional needs of data will have to be burdened upon the trials. Some of these parallel early scientific advice exercises going on are very much focused on the trials. That's okay, but that's definitely not covering all the potential needs that the HTAs would have. But again, that would be just thinking as you move ahead with the kind of observational registry data, etc., you could get from the system to have a much better base later on.